Welcome to our pilot episode of The Globe's Nest presents Gen X, Y, and Z. I'm your host, Tito Torres, and today we have other members of the Globe's Nest.
Hi, I'm Shuvanga.
Rachel.
Bilal.
Hi, my name is Ashley.
And my name is Ryan.
So everyone here is a student at Montgomery College, including myself. The reason why we're calling this Gen X, Y, and Z is because I'm actually Gen X. I was born in 1981, and I presume that everyone else here is Gen Z. So there is obviously a huge generational and age gap between all of us. But what we hope to accomplish on this podcast is to bridge that gap and create, a better understanding of each other and, socially, culturally, everything, because it's a different time now from when I grew up, when I was in college the first time. And I've gotten to know a lot of the students very well, and I feel like I understand y'all, but I want to get you all an opportunity to really speak for yourselves and let me know what you all think about, today's world in college and everything else, all other aspects of it. So let's get started. The first question that I want to ask everyone is, the most common theme that I hear across all college students is pressure and stress. So now that you've been in college a little bit, what is the biggest stressor, the biggest pressure that you feel on yourself personally, or that's created by others, that's affecting you the most during college? Or, do you worry about the future? Are you self-conscious about certain things? So what is it that really is it right now that affects you most?
Okay, I'll start. As for right now, I'd say the biggest.
And this is Ashley.
Hi. As for right now, I would say like the biggest pressure would be honestly just to achieve a level of greatness, because especially coming from like immigrant parents, there's like a certain standard of like oh, we're putting all our eggs in our basket and you're the basket, and it's your like opportunity that we've sacrificed like our lives, our family, or everything, like for you to be like that greatness that we're putting everything to, they're like, I'm their biggest investment. That's what I'm carrying right now. So being like, even in my field, like I picked the field that like won't make me any money for certain.
And
right?
what field is this?
I want to be a journalist, right? So before I started like MC, I wanted to be a nurse because I was like, oh, that's assured money. I have the brains for it, right? I have the heart for it. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. But then after taking a few classes, I was like, this isn't my passion. So that's why I switched. And now I have to work extra hard to get to where I want to be and achieve like that level of greatness in my field, So it's like I have to.
And what is that? What does that look like when you achieve greatness, when you achieve that moment that you're working hard for?
Mostly, I guess, to be able to like make money off of it, but like I want to make an impact on like the world, not just like just write stuff that people will just skim over and be like, oh, that was fun, but just have them like open their minds and be like more open to different ideas and see things that they never like thought they would see. Like I also want to go into photojournalism and taking like images of people that like they don't even like know are in the world right now, or they don't like have an admiration for like their culture, or know how like their day in life is like across the world, things that people don't really see. Those are things that I want to capture and bring stories out from, so like being able to do that while making a profit so I could sustain my own family one day and being able to make my parents proud, like that's what I'm carrying right now.
And you think that's what most a big chunk of college students are also dealing with, that type of pressure from family to be the one to come and save everyone?
Oh my God, I could tell you that I think in my high school, like 95% of the kids are just like me. Like they're all like first generation kids that their parents are immigrants. They're working hard. They're working like these like jobs that because you never had an education. They're like, you're gonna be like what I'm proud of, and that's why I'm putting you where. That's why I'm working the extra hours. That's why I'm trying to give you everything so you can be better than I was. And every day we're hearing that, like, work hard, don't do this, don't do that, but work hard so you can make money so you don't have to live the life that I'm living right now. So that's what we're hearing, like, every day, and it's like, okay, I need to work hard, I need to do more, I need to do more to be better.
Well, right there, we're not so different, because that's exactly the pressure that I've had my whole entire life. It's that I'm the first generation here, first generation American, so I have to do better than everyone else. and I've always felt that pressure, and I've always felt like I've been letting my own family down because I never did go to college. I never or completed it. And now I'm back in and doing it now, but I'm not doing it this time for the parents or for the family or for any of that stuff. Now I'm doing it really for myself, and I think that's like the biggest change from being 20 years old to being 40 years old is now like the things that I thought really mattered, the reasons why I was doing things aren't necessarily true. Like you're the most important thing, but that's just coming from me, the Gen X point of view. Would you like to share?
Yeah. So,
This is Shuvanga.
hi. So for me, since I'm a only child and yeah, and I'm the oldest, obviously. But yeah, it's so my parents are the same way. I always have to hear like, yeah, we're doing this for you. You need to work hard. So yeah, but like for me, I think that's the most hardest part is to like keep up with that. So yeah, and for me, I think one other struggle in in terms of stress is uh that I have like I don't like the workload, but yeah, that's just me. So yeah,
The school workload?
yeah.
How many courses or credits?
Right now I'm taking four.
So 12?
Yeah, so I'm taking a bio class, the lecture and the lab. So I think that
Those are like 4 credits?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I'm taking that. My other class starts like on the 6th, so hopefully I can do it justice. But yeah, um, those two things are like a big struggle for me. Like to balance it out almost. Like I need to make my parents proud, but also like put in the effort to like do my work.
Right.
If,
Makes sense.
yeah.
I can add on to you.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I totally get like the work stress, especially when you're taking 4 classes, doing like 3 additional clubs, and then there's other stuff running like happening, and it's like yeah, like I can't sit here and lie and be like yeah, I didn't think about like dropping out my first year at MC because I was just tired of it. I didn't want to do anything with anything. I was like, what's the whole point? Like my major isn't like a certain thing. If I don't work hard in it, I'm gonna end up nowhere. But it's like it's the parents, like my parents are like putting everything for me. That's the thing that wakes me up, and it's like I don't want to do this anymore, but then like I look at what I have and it's like I gotta get up and do this again and again and again until I get where I want to be. Like I can't just sit here and like wait for life to like, just happen because I know it's not going to. Like life didn't happen for them, why would it for me?
Until I get to where I want to be. So in your mind, when you get to where you want to be, then you don't have to do all this stuff. You don't have to get up and do it all over again and keep
I
going.
probably will. I will find a next thing to excite me and wake up in the morning. Because like this day in like 15 years, like I'll have my own kids to like watch after over and work hard for them so they can be even better than I even was.
Because that's the one thing. There really is no goal. It never stops. So you think,
Pulitzer sounds really nice though.
yeah, I realized that I used to think like that too, exactly like that. Once I get here, then, whatever. And no, it just continues. There's just more stuff to do for whatever next thing that you got. So you really never ever stop. It never ends. Would you guys like to share?
Okay. So as being the youngest of 8 kids, with being adopted, I guess it's different in a way because I have my older siblings to like look after me, and they also raised me in a way, not just my parents. Like they were there when my dad was in the hospital in and out, like with high school and everything. And once I started looking into colleges and like really trying to figure out my career, I like actually like I wanted to be a nurse, and then I decided that wasn't for me, like in taking my gap year. I was like, I don't want to do this, and now I'm trying to become a journalist. And again, like with my siblings, you know, guiding me there, like they've told me like, don't do this, don't do that, like things that my parents didn't tell me because they know that my siblings are going to tell me that, and they know that they're going to be the ones to like help when they're not here anymore, because my parents are pretty old. But it's, I guess, like in a way I'm lucky about it, but at the same time it gets really tiring to hear, because it's like I'm an adult, I'm not a kid anymore, but I still get treated like I'm a kid because I'm the youngest. So they don't look at me the same how they would look at themselves, and I think it's just a lot different. And like with the stress, it's like they say, oh yeah, I remember that, and I'm like, but it's different these days. School is so much different than it was 20 years ago. It is not the same. Not everyone uses textbooks anymore. Computers are a thing, iPads are a thing, like you use them to take notes in class. Not everything is the same as it used to be 20 years ago. So that's just my intake on it. But yeah, and with the workload as well, like it's stressful. Like I'm putting a lot more work into stuff because I have unmedicated ADHD, so like it's really hard for me to like pay attention in class. And even if I do, like I'm not thinking of the same thing that maybe other kids are thinking, and I'm too scared to ask for help. So I ask in private because I don't want to sound dumb or sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, or like I'm not keeping up with the class.
You beat me to my next question. One thing that I've noticed in class is, I mean, we had a class together last semester.
Yeah.
I asked a lot of questions. I made a lot of comments. I was one of the most outspoken people in the class.
was.
And I've wondered for the last year and a half that I've been at MC, why doesn't anyone talk? Why is everyone so afraid? No, I don't want to. I don't want to assume that it's fear. I don't want. I don't know what it is. I don't know if this is the norm now, where nobody speaks or talks. So my second question is, how do you all feel about that? About being in a class now with a professor, and you know you have to have questions, and you either ask them or you don't, or you do it in private later. But why is it that way? What is the fear?
So,
Ryan?
so I'm just gonna talk from my perspective. So if you knew me from when I was a little kid, I was always that kid in class that would not stop talking, would not stop asking questions. I was always disrupting class, you know. I was trying to be the class clown or whatever, you know. Like you could say a lot of things, but when you go into college, it feels like I don't know how to say it. It feels like, at least in my own point of, like from my perspective, it feels like I'm a little bit more in my head, you know. I don't know if that's because of COVID or whatever happened, you know, like going through things. It feels, I notice I am more in my head, you know. And when you're in college, it kind of feels like you're with these other people and you're just trying to get through, at least for me. And yeah, and I also have ADHD as well, and I'm constantly overthinking in my, and when you know, like there's that opportunity to say something, it feels like I don't know if what I'm gonna say is right, and like as you said, you don't want to seem stupid or something, which you know I don't think is like constantly going through my head, but it is something that I've noticed as well.
Let me add to like Ryan, like I was always like really chatty, and I still am. Like I'd be yapping like all the way through until. But like the thing for me is like since little, like I always like saved my questions to the end of class, so that's what I keep doing in college. So I won't like ask my 1,000 questions like during class because I don't like bother the other students. So I'll just like go during their office hours, and that's what I did with like my math teacher. Like he would see me every office hour, and like I'm proud to say I was one of the only B's in the class because the rest of the class like failed, like E failed. So questions do save your life. No, it was crazy.
It also shows effort. Like you want to get a B or an A, you have to do other things that everyone else is not doing. It's not just doing your homework stuff. It's meeting your professors, make sure they know your names, making sure that they know that I am struggling right here and I don't know why. Yeah. And maybe they can help you in that way.
It's also that, and then I have like a different perspective, cause I work at a high school, and then during the summers we had like the programs, and we would have them like introduction to this program that they were in, and there was like a pathway to Montgomery College, And in that program, like when I was in it, I was actually in it with Ryan, actually. So we were in 10th grade. We were talking all the way through. On the second day, like we were already like friends and whatnot, right? And we were still with people in our, like, from our same school, but we managed to like branch out to other people in our other schools, where we all became friends. Where it was from like 4 different high schools. We all managed to become friends in that group. And then when I went back to the program, it was during COVID. They were what, 10th grade or 7th grade. They were not talking to each other whatsoever.
This is right after COVID.
This was like the year after things started opening up, so this was like 2022. None of them were talking. And we were all excited. We were like, oh, like, why aren't you guys making friends? They wouldn't even talk to us. And we were like leading their class. And I was like, are you guys okay? And they were just on their phones. And I was like, do you guys want to play musical chairs and not do this? Like, I'm down as long as you like interact. They would just not talk to us. And then last year we did it. It was just quiet. Like, no one was trying to interact with any of them. And these are like our upcoming, class of 2026, 25, 24. Like, they're just not talkative.
I want to save the COVID talk for next time because I already thought about this. I want to because I really want to know what that 2-year effect of not being in school, not being with kids, and depending on what grade you were at, how that affected you afterwards, going forward. But we'll say that for next time. Right now, about speaking up in a classroom. How do you feel about that?
So this is my personal, so what I've been through. So, for when I was young, like Ryan and Ashley, I used to talk a lot. I was so naive. I used to talk a lot, and now I'm like an introvert almost. Like, I never asked questions. I was too afraid. In high school, like, the teachers used to pull me out to like ask if I was okay and all that. And for me, I think communication is really important nowadays, because if you don't communicate, like you won't know what you're going through and what people are going through. So, for me, that's just a big part of, like, now I'm like, yeah, you need to communicate with me because I don't know what you're going through. But yeah.
What about you, Bilal?
Yeah.
Do you speak in class? Do you ask a lot of questions, or are you the quiet type?
I barely talk in class because I just don't like talking in general in class. But I do talk a lot with my friends and stuff. Because in high school, I never had friends until my senior year. Because I don't know, like, high school teenagers are like cruel. Because in high school, I just didn't allow myself to open up to people. But in my senior year, I joined forensics class, which is like a criminal class you can join to like study bodies and stuff.
That's kind of
So I filmed like a project for like a murder story, like about soccer. So basically, there's this guy named Landon. He misses a penalty, and then he blames like the goalkeeper for like messing him up. And then what's it called, like he like shot him and stuff. So we did like analyze the body on that, like how like they died and stuff. And during that time was like a fun time, like doing a lot of like creating a lot of scenes with like new people. And it's we got in trouble one time with like the community because they thought we were like doing something bad. Because we're filming like the scene, gun scene, and then it was like with a PS4 controller.
So they see someone looks out the window and you're holding a gun to someone.
Yeah, so it was like a PS4
They thought you were
controller.
doing something bad.
So it was like PS4 controller. So and then we did that, and then my friend like ran away with a Jeep, and then behind the background was a kid. So I'm assuming that kid reported to like his parents, and then and then the community sent a letter to like the neighborhood, and that neighborhood is where my friend lives. So now after that, we kind of stopped filming, so we had to switch parks to film. But I would say that was like a very fun moment in my life.
So today in class though, are you still quiet?
Yeah. I would definitely say because like no one talks in class.
No one talks in class. Does
No.
anyone talk in any of your classes?
Can I? Oh, go ahead. So I actually, okay. So if you knew me when I was younger, like Ryan said, in elementary school, I actually was very quiet. I did not talk to anyone. I was actually bullied because of that. And it got to a point where my mom had to homeschool me for the rest of middle school because it got progressively worse. And in high school, I'm pretty sure it's only because I dated like this really popular guy. Like everyone started to know who I was. I'm pretty sure that if I didn't date him, then nobody would have known who I was. And now there was only actually one class that I really talked in, and that's because I grew comfortable in my surroundings. And I was like, you know what? I'm an adult now. This is college. I did not try at all in high school, which is probably why I almost failed and like dropped out because I was like, I don't want to finish this. And if it weren't for my mom, I wouldn't have graduated because I told her one day, like this was probably 3 months before graduation. I was like, Mom, I don't think I can do this. I was failing math and I was like, I can't do it. And she told me, she's like, no, you're going to do it. You're going to walk that stage. And I did. I ended up walking that stage. And it's different now because I'm more extroverted than I used to be. And Shuvanga actually told me that when he first met me, I already seemed bubbly. And I was like, that's really surprising because I was so nervous to go to that meeting for the first time. I was like, I don't know any of you people. You don't know me. I don't even want to talk to you right now, but I still talked because I was like, if I don't push myself, how am I going to get out of that bubble?
You actually introduced yourself to me first.
Did I? Mm-hmm. I don't remember this.
We were out in the hallway waiting for the class to get in, and you turned around to me and you said, "Hi, good morning." And I said, "Hey, good morning." And I said, "I'm Tito," and we all introduced ourselves. Yeah, it was just simple little, but that's the first time that we ever talked. So I didn't view you as a shy person because shy people don't ever introduce themselves.
I used to be very, very shy. And now I'm like, no. Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, I know you want to go. So yeah, I feel like being in the Globe really helped me to like open up more because I didn't talk. Like
You're a rapper now.
And now you're on a podcast on video.
yeah, and and I'm like freaking out on the inside right now, but like, but it's cool. I'm cool, but.
You're very cool, yeah.
Yeah, what Ryan said, I have ADHD too, so,
Raise your hand if you have ADHD.
me.
And have been diagnosed with it?
Yeah.
You've been diagnosed with it? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I was
You
diagnosed.
two do not.
I don't know.
You haven't been tested for anything.
Because I was like jumping.
Sounded so offended.
I mean, they thought I did, but then my mom's like, "You're fine."
Yeah, I don't take any medication
I
for
don't
it.
take it.
But like, I feel like now I'm more hyperactive. Like,
Yeah, me too.
yes. And yeah, so thank you to the Globe for helping me with my introverted self. So yeah,
It's awesome.
do you wanna?
I forgot what I was gonna say.
I can say, me personally, I don't think I am an introvert. I think I would consider myself more of an extroverted person. I just think that I know you wanted to talk about it next time, but I think through COVID, I think I just kind of got used to kind of being in my own head a lot more, and I guess I got diagnosed with ADHD during COVID. So it was I didn't know it growing up or anything like that. Although I was told, like, you probably have something. I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, but then when I started to kind of like, be forced to kind of just be in my own head a little bit more, I started to notice that like, okay, like maybe I do. And I went to go get tested. Turns out I did. And then ever since then, I think I've been even more in my head because I've been aware of it now. So I think that might add to why I might not, talk more in class because I don't want to, like, I'm aware now of things that I do that are like, okay, like, exactly, yes. And I think that adds on to why I might be less, less extroverted in class or something like that because I'm trying to mask it a little bit. Yeah, I would say.
What would help all of you be more comfortable speaking in class starting tomorrow? What would need to happen in order for you to know it's okay to ask questions? Actually, I should ask questions. Why am I afraid at all to ask anything? Um,
So I think because okay, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but in my perspective, um, a lot of movies that I watched growing up, they have like the main character that's like, let's say shy, for example, and then they go to a new school or something or like a new state, and they like everyone's like talking about them, whatever, like they become like the huge center of attention. It's kind of like that in my head because it's like I don't want that attention, and I'm scared that like people will get too close to me because for that reason I don't want that. So it's like I don't know. I don't know if you guys can like relate to like what I mean. Yeah.
I feel like I get that perspective in high school because it's like a small set of group and like everyone hears about everything in high school. But like once you get into college, it's a whole different playing game because you're just one extra piece of rice to the whole bowl. Like you don't matter anymore, And you're just put into a pool, and it's like, okay, if you make a name for yourself, cool, and if you don't, then you don't. Like I think it was a beginning like of like MC, like my year at MC, and I was doing like MC voices where you basically write blogs about like MC, and my photo was on like the little portal thing where you go to sign in, right? And I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. Ha ha ha. No one's going to notice because it was like all the way at the end. And then I would cut people like later on the semester be like, I know you. Where have I seen you? And I was like, who are you? And they're like, I was like, I'm a first year. And I was like, they were like, I've seen you before. And I was like, nice to meet you. And I'm like, I don't know you, but like, nice to meet you, And like, I was like, it was cute, but it was like, wow, like it's getting that different type of attention when you do more things. It's like you're like, oh my gosh, like I need to keep like an image for myself, and like that's another thing. But like getting back to your question for like the classroom thing, honestly, I wish people just looked more friendlier, because sometimes like when in my 8 a.m. math class, like I only talked to one girl who was sitting next to me because she was like making the same facial expressions as me, and she like smiled at me in the morning. So I was like, oh okay, yeah, like you seem really sweet. But then everyone else seemed like they wanted to like off themselves anytime at that class, and I was like, you guys look scary to talk to, so I just wouldn't approach them. And it was like that in my other classes, but like classes like my 108 communications class, like the professor got all of us to talk, and then we were like, oh, all of us are like on the same thing. So all of us that class, we were just talking the whole way through, with our peers and stuff like that. So I think partially maybe on the teachers' part too, because they're like go into the classroom and be like, I'm just gonna teach you guys and that's it, and they don't let us like create a bond within all of us, which makes the class like more like smooth sailing than if they didn't do like little icebreakers or be like introduce yourselves. So I think that's one thing that could definitely make things easier.
well, I want to thank everyone for sharing all that because
Oh, sorry.
I can hear it. Because I personally think all this is super important, and it's not just for other students to be able to listen to this. I mean, I think more of the older adult population needs to know this also, because the way that they approach their children that are in school and stuff like affects your outcome. It affects how you feel in class and how you perform in class and everything. You said that we're all just a piece of rice. It feels like you're just a little piece of rice in school and you either make it or you don't. That's crazy. To me, that's crazy.
It is kind of crazy if you think about it.
It is like just to have that type of mentality. But when we come back next time, I have so many more questions now that we have this. So I want to thank you all for such great content and for being open, honest, vulnerable, and humble about everything. To me, you are some of the coolest people that I've met so far, and I mean that. I'm not just saying that just because you're very real. Everyone can learn something from every single one of you because you all have your own little personal stories. But once that comes out, then you become known, like you said, like you're either making it or you don't, and you do make it. Yeah, you need to keep up that image once you become known. That's another thing that is kind of wild to me. Like the pressure that you have put on yourself now to keep that up.
Yeah.
So now I kind of got to top this and I got to top that.
Kinda crazy,
But
yeah.
we'll talk about that next time. So from the Globe's Nest, your host Tito and Shuvang, Rachel, Bilal, Ashley, Ryan, thank you all. And we will be back in maybe a week.
See you guys
Thank you.
Bye.
Next time, can I speak first? 'Cause- I didn't want to like.